the only company in the whole of North America that does what we do.
R290 is still banned here.
Yeah, people are a lot more patient.
Different units, Fahrenheit, BTUs, PSI.
90% of New York City is still steam.
We are here in New York in Castrads office and showroom, and here is with me Luke from Castrads. Hi, Luke.
How you doing?
Yeah, great. So a lot of people in the UK will know about Castrads, but this is probably a new thing here in New York. But just in short, for people who maybe are not familiar, what is Castrads, what you are doing, and what is your main business?
Okay, yeah. So Castrads is, as you said, it was a UK-based business. We set up, it's our 20th year this year, so 20th year anniversary. And it's a family-run business. It was set up by the owner's dad 20 years ago. He had a kind of history in working with cast iron radiators through an old salvage yard he owned, and then went fully into cast iron radiators back in 2005, now 2006. We essentially, what we do is we make custom cast iron radiators for people's home, domestic and commercial heating, predominantly domestic heating.
And they're pretty nice.
Yes, yeah. That's the idea. I think, as you said, we're pretty well established in the UK, and the product's very well established in Europe. Here in New York, we've been set up here for just over 6 years now. 7 years now. And it was definitely an eye-opener for us moving over here, and people's kind of lack of knowledge of the product and the availability of this product. We are the only company in the whole of North America that does what we do in terms of custom cast iron radiators. So it's been an education piece for us, learning the US market. It's very different to Europe and very different to the UK, and people's understanding of the products and systems is very different.
So we are talking, let's say, my main business is education. We have this platform trying to educate people, and usually in Europe we said we need to educate people a lot.
Yep.
But what about hydronics here? You mentioned that it's completely different.
Yep.
So no one is even taking care of that.
Yeah, as far as the education piece here is, we had to educate ourselves first, and then a lot of the education for us here is not just consumers, it's actual trade as well.
Just a quick reminder, our new heat pump course is available. You can check link below.
I mean, in New York itself, it's predominantly steam systems, but a lot of the country is moving towards hot water and some even heat pumps, which is obviously your area of expertise. I suppose what we were talking about previously was the kind of the lack of knowledge on different types of systems from not only a consumer perspective, but also many even professionals here. So I think what you're doing would be, in terms of the education piece, would be really, really, really big here.
And let's say we also talk about this. So you are producing radiators, which is, as far as we know, not so complicated product. But you told me that you are also, let's say, on site, checking things, troubleshooting things. How this looks like? Because in, let's say, as we talked before this, here in Europe, let's say, we go to the store, buy the radiator, that's it. You have valve, you have lock shield, and that's it. But here, this area is also missing what I can see.
Yeah, the one thing you have to understand here compared to Europe is the variety of different systems. In terms of, like, we're sat here in New York, 90% of New York City is still steam, and that split between different types of steam systems, 1-pipe, 2-pipe, vented systems. There's a lot to learn, and the problem is what we find here is, and we experience here, is a lot of people haven't put in the effort to learn. So for me, coming over here, I had to learn steam. I already knew hot water because I'm British, and I think most people, even in lay terms, have a relatively good understanding of how heating systems work. Most people in the UK. Over here, it's the baseline knowledge is for a consumer is nearly non-existent, and then I mean, there's even books written on steam heating here, for example, like called The Lost Art of Steam, because people, it's a dying trade essentially. So yeah, I think education is so important.
And what about heat pumps? Also, what was interesting for me to hear that R32 is starting to be a thing here. In Europe. We are most on R290 for a few years, and for R290 is still banned here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think even in heat pump industry, let's say a lot of ducts here, a lot of HVAC system air to air, but hydronics, what we can see, New York is probably the best for hydronics, but still we need to, let's say, change our way of learning. And you also mentioned to me about my presentation, I need to make it even more simple. Try to adapt to the market. With different units, Fahrenheit, BTUs, PSI. So we are like, it's really not strange because we are not operating here, but for you it's probably now fine because you are a lot of years here.
That was it. That was when I say about the education piece for us as a company. It was as much as we moved from England to America, and it's English to English. It's not. It's English to English American, and just those nuances of language and terminology is so different here that you might hear it in a different from a different perspective in the UK or in Europe, and then you'll go away and work that out. Whereas often, if it's not presented in the way of, like I said, BTUs rather than kilowatts, if you're talking about square foot rather than instead of meter square, just things as simple as that.
Tone in cooling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's for us. We had to translate our whole kind of sales process and consultation process into terminology and language that's understood here by consumers and professionals as well.
And at the end, how you find yourself and the business here? Is it different than the UK? Is it challenging? Is it good? What will you say?
Listen, our customers are fantastic. We have surprisingly so. I think a lot of people are surprised when I say this. I think the patience levels of customers here, if how long it takes for something to be made. For example, we're making it in the UK and shipping it over. People are a lot more patient. If things go wrong, they're much more understanding of things going wrong and stuff. So our clientele is fantastic here. We get to sell our products and go and do site consultations in some of the most amazing places, the most amazing apartments and municipal buildings and stuff. So yeah, it's a nice part of the job, the variety and the diversity of the actual day-to-day job as well.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks, and I will add, because they are really nice. I assume in top of the apartments in New York, you will want this type of radiators.
Yeah, I mean, whether it be in a penthouse apartment in New York or any of the projects that you guys are working on in Europe as well with heat pumps. I mean, these products are fantastic. Cast iron's fantastic for a heat pump, air to water heat pump system as well, because their way that they retain heat and you talked about having heat pump running constantly at a low temperature rather than up and down and up and down. Cast iron's made for that just because of how they retain the heat. So
in Croatia we don't have so much experience with heat pumps and cast iron radiators, but what is your feedback from the UK? As you mentioned, so probably it's a way to go if you have radiator. Yeah,
for sure, yeah. I mean, you get to kill two birds with one stone. You get something really, really beautiful in your home in terms of a design aspect, but something that's really efficient as well. We are massive advocates of as a company for installation of heat pumps. We're working really closely with a few different heat pump engineers in the UK and sites like HVAC and stuff like that. But Nick, who you've been in contact with, who's one of the owners of the company, he's recently installed a heat pump system, done a load of work on his house, got renovation, made it. Insulated the property well, because as you say, the first thing you need to do is the building and then the heat pump afterwards. We are really conscious of how the world is going in the direction of heat pumps, and we want to make sure that our product is we're not left behind, and that cast iron radiators and radiators in general are moved forward with those installations.
Thanks, Luke. Thank you, everyone. And if you are in New York, you need to stop here.
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
stop by and check with the guys. Thank you.